What are some good internet rabbit holes to fall into during this time of quarantine? TV tropes. There is a list of a couple hundred small homestead skills to build: make a mallet with a branch and a hatchet, a bit of sewing, make an adobe brick with mud from the backyard, sharpen knives and tools, dry some food. I recommend this because it's become obvious that part of the problem right now is how many people didn't do well in school, me included. Big part of why I love this site, or did not have the opportunity, and thus tune out valuable information they don't understand. I wish more people took advantage of the fact that scholastic information is free or close to it. Just gotta look for it online nowadays. Before the internet, you had to be lucky enough to afford education, and live in a place where that kind of opportunity was available. Most people in the past didn't get to change their future as easily as we can. So go to Wikipedia and pick a country and look at a history of their leaders. Can be interesting to see a list of them and the politics behind it, especially African countries cause their wild how often they switch and for why. You could always have a go at the internet's hardest puzzle, Notpron. It's been online since 2004, but only 67 people ever made it through all 140 levels. I've been playing since 2007. I'm in the 70s now. One of my favorite things to do is look around on Google Earth at an area you never plan on traveling to. Zoom way in, and learn about the small villages, communities, cities that live on completely different continents or tiny islands in the middle of nowhere. It's seriously insane how humans are willing to live anywhere. In early 2000s, someone began posting on several message boards claiming to be a military time traveler from the year 2036. He arrived in 2000 on a stopover for personal reasons. His primary mission was to return to 1975 to recover an IBM 5100 computer which was needed to debug huge computer issues that would arise in his original time. Some have disregarded this as an elaborate hoax. The rub is, there is an anticipated Y2K-style computer frying event, look up Unix 2038 problem, and only like 5 people in the world knew the IBM 5100 debugging programming existed, which was later confirmed to be true by someone involved with the project. His stories contain predictions from his timeline, time travel theory, physics of his machine, and even schematics of the time travel device. All his posts are archived. Enjoy your trip down the rabbit hole. Ask a Mortician on YouTube. Entertaining way to learn about the green funeral industry and confront mortality. If you love the darkness, or gallows humor, or are really curious about what happens to your body when you die, check it out. Someone in another thread recommended the YouTube channel Geography Now. I have been binge watching it for the past week. Really entertaining way to learn about all the countries in the world. Who remembers StumbleUpon.com? You create an account, choose your interests, then hit the Stumble button and all of a sudden you will be shown a cool website that has to do with your interests. Thumbs up if you like that page. Thumbs down if you don't. The more you dislike, the cooler your pages get. The family that couldn't sleep. I believe even the Vatican are involved in housing them and trying to come up with a cure. For 200 years a noble Venetian family has suffered from an inherited disease that strikes their members in middle age, stealing their sleep, eating holes in their brains, and ending their lives in a matter of months. In Papua New Guinea, a primitive tribe is nearly obliterated by a sickness whose chief symptom is uncontrollable laughter. Plus, I found myself looking for new skills for hours on Startup Stash. I thought reading about the Death Valley Germans was super interesting and took a good few hours to read and do my own research. The Rotten Library has an archive of essentially a pre-Wikipedia with hand-written articles on weird stuff, cults, murders, etc. It's cross-linked so it's easy to get lost. It's a relic of when the web was just scattered information with no real way to find it. The Rotten Library was my teenage introduction to so many oddities that today get reposted on Reddit every few months. My 90s TV. This is a fun, novelty website where you can easily lose yourself for hours with nostalgia. Basically it uses YouTube videos to simulate watching TV in 90s and allows you to specify the year you want, along with what categories you want to see when you change channels. There is also a My 80s TV and a My 70s TV. Maybe you could find out what's on the second page of Google. On YouTube, I have been viewing this channel named Horror Stories. It's a collection of short but brief real-life horror stories of people who died in the most horrible, unimaginable, and unsuspecting way. No clickbaits. On-point storytelling. If you're into music, there are a ton of great channels on YouTube. Rick Beato does a lot of music and song analyses. Alex Ball has done some documentaries about Roland and the Prophet synthesizers. All really interesting history and information. True Cuckoo is a dude who has a ton of videos about synthesizers, drum machines and jams. Not to mention tutorials. There's so much that you can learn. I started with guitar and recently I got into synths and drum machines, and YouTube is a great place to get to learn from plenty of talented people. I missed a ton, but I guess you can do the exploring yourself. The Delphi murders. If even a minor percent of Redditors took 1 minute to view this audio, especially if you live in the Midwest or know people in the Midwest, there's a good chance this case could be solved today. Quick summary. 2 young teens, Abby Williams 13 and Libby German 14, had a day off from school and went for a walk on a local trail bridge in the small town of Delphi, Indiana on February 13, 2017. After walking across an abandoned railroad bridge in a desolate area of the trail system, a man followed them across the bridge and forced them down a hill. He murdered them. The crazy thing is, Libby had been filming Abby with her phone, and was able to secretly capture the start of her encounter with her killer on video before putting the phone in her pocket. Police have released part of the video audio. It's not very good quality, but it is the best they have and captures the killer and his voice. Both NASA and Disney assisted in editing it to make it clearer, but there wasn't a lot to work with. But police really want people to focus on his movement, even without looking at someone's head. You could pick out a family member of close friend by their mannerisms, body, way they move, etc., and you would obviously know their voice. There are a lot of ridiculous conspiracy theories out there that police have debunked. So don't fall down that hole. Stick to what the FBI, state police have released. The killer is a white male between 18 to 40. They believe he lives locally in the area, previously lived in the area, or has family there. This isn't just a place you stumble upon. Witnesses who passed him on the trail prior said he had reddish-brown hair, likely between 5'6" and 5'8". They were not catfished or speaking to anyone online about a meeting. In other words, this was a horrific stranger encounter. They weren't lured or anything. 2 sketches were released that both looked quite different. Police now say the suspect most likely looks like a combination of the 2 sketches. But again, I think the most important thing is to watch the actual video. 2 of the witnesses that helped with the original sketch said they were unhappy with parts of the first sketch, and don't believe the second sketch looks anything like the man they saw. The witnesses said they were unable to provide an accurate description on the lower half of the man's face, since he had a white scarf wrapped around his lower mouth, chin area. There are multiple people out there who know this man. They grew up with him, maybe work with him, maybe he's their brother-in-law, but there's a good chance they just haven't seen the video yet. The more people who see the video, the higher chance this bastard will be recognized. I always encourage people to watch it and share it so someone else sees it. The families of these girls are desperate for answers. If you have a tip, you can remain 100% anon and email it. There's also a $250K reward. I've been down a rabbit hole to make sourdough bread. I'm fascinated now. I didn't realize how the process works. I saw some lady who's been using the same starter since the 1970s, and she got hers from a woman who used hers for the last 100 years. The Boyle clan motherdough. Cicada 3301.